In the hills of Mbale, Eastern Uganda, nestled between green banana plantations and red dusty paths, was the small village of Bimadanda. Life moved slowly there. Roosters woke the sun, children ran barefoot to the stream, and women sang as they pounded millet under mango trees. 13-year-old Apiyo lived with her grandmother, Nora, in a grass-thatched hut on the edge of the village. Her parents had died when she was 5, victims of a road accident on their way to Toro town. Since then, Nora had become her ward, strict, but kind, and full of old stories that danced with spirits, riddles, and whispers from the ancestors. Apiyo's days were simple: fetch water, sweep the compound, help in the garden, and every morning, walk 5 kilometers to Bimadanda Primary School. She loved school. Even when her uniform became too tight and her shoes gave up, she went. She believed that learning was her escape from poverty, that one day, she'd become a nurse in Mbale Hospital and build her grandmother a house with iron sheets and a concrete floor. But the year the rains failed, everything changed. The beans dried up before flowering, and the maize was stunted. The river shrunk into brown puddles, and goats grew thin. Markets in town raised prices, and soon, even salt, the cheapest staple, became rare. One evening, as they sat under the avocado tree, Nora spoke between slow chews of roasted cassava. "Apiyo, tomorrow you will go to Busoba market. Take the dry sim and trade it for salt." Apiyo nodded. She loved market days. The songs, the laughter, the chaos. She wrapped the sim in an old curtained cloth and tied it tightly. Before dawn, she began the long walk, barefoot and alone. The path snaked through valleys, past sugarcane fields and termite hills. Birds chirped, and the morning mist clung to her skin. By noon, she arrived at the bustling market. Women squatted beside mats of tomatoes and dry fish, while men argued over chicken prices. She walked carefully, eyeing every stall. Salt was scarce, and many sellers were charging more than usual. Then she saw him, an old man with a deep scar across his cheek, sitting behind a small sack of salt. His eyes were sharp and unreadable. "How much?" she asked, holding out her sim. The man examined it. 2 cups of sim for a small tin of salt. "That's too much," she said quietly. "Others take 1 cup. Then go to them," he shrugged. But she had already tried. He had the last salt in the market. Her grandmother's words echoed in her mind: "Salt gives food its spirit. Without it, we are only eating for survival." Reluctantly, she gave him 2 cups and took the salt in a tiny reused blue bun tin. She wrapped it carefully, tucked it in her bag, and began the journey home. But halfway back, clouds gathered. Thunder rumbled. The wind screamed through the banana trees. Then the rain came. It poured as if the skies had cracked open. Within minutes, the footpath became a slippery mess. Apiyo tried to run, but her feet kept sinking in mud. She clutched her bag to her chest, heart pounding. Suddenly, she slipped and fell hard. Her elbow scraped on a rock, and her bag flew open. The salt tin rolled down the hill. "No," she screamed, scrambling after it. She reached it, half open, salt-soaked and melting into the soil. Tears stung her eyes. Salt didn't just season their food. It symbolized effort, sacrifice, dignity. Nora would be heartbroken. She scooped what she could, wrapping it in leaves, knowing most of it was ruined. By the time she reached home, soaked and shivering, it was nearly dark. Nora saw her muddy clothes and bleeding elbow. "Child, what happened?" Apiyo burst into tears. "The salt. I slipped, the rain." Nora sat silently, then reached for her, holding her close. "You tried. That's all that matters." They didn't speak of the salt again. The next day, Apiyo woke to the smell of porridge, hot and thick with a faint scent of sorghum. "Where did you get salt?" she asked. Georgia smiled, revealing her missing front teeth. Our neighbor, Mama Kokai, gave me some. I told her what happened. She said you were brave. Apiyo smiled, feeling warmth spread through her. In the days that followed, the rains returned. Slowly, the gardens healed. Green crept back into the hills. And in class, when the teacher asked the students to write an essay on a day I will never forget, Apiyo wrote about the price of salt and what it taught her about resilience, kindness, and the strength of quiet sacrifice. The end. What did you learn from this story? Share your thoughts in the comments.